How can you get Travis Scott's Adlib sound in your production on your voice? In this tutorial, I'll be demonstrating inside FL Studio, but I'll be making two chains. One using only FL Studio stock plugins, and the other using third-party plugins. However, the key thing about this whole thing is the idea. And the idea can be applied inside any DAW using the stock tools of that DAW. And to prove it, at the end of the video, I'll be making the same chain from scratch inside LogicPro X. You can find and get these presets for yourself on my website through the link in the description. Let's go. I found some dry Travis Scott Adlibs.
That's right! Straight up, I'm lit!
And I also recorded some myself.
That's right! Yeah, that's lit! Hell yeah!
These are the examples I'll be using to demonstrate. Let's break down the third-party chain first. The main key ingredient of the sound is auto-tune. You want to tune this to the key and scale of your music. This is not a setting that you set and leave for every project. Then you want a very fast retune speed. In case of Travis Scott, is on the fastest. Apart from that, everything else in the plugin is left on default.
That's right! Straight up, I'm lit!
You can hear the auto-tune working hard. From there, we go into an EQ, and it's not really important what EQ you use. The point of this EQ is to filter the low end, make the vocal thinner, and control a little bit of the mid-range. This low cut is much more exaggerated compared to what you do for your lead vocals. For lead vocals, I usually low cut to about 150 Hz. For this, we are filtering to about 350 Hz, and we're taking out, using a dynamic band, we're taking out a little bit of 900 Hz. EQ bypassed.
That's right!
EQ on.
That's right! Straight up!
Next is compression, and again, you can use pretty much any type of compressor that you like. Certain compressors provide a tone, some don't, some are more aggressive, and some are more smooth. LA2A is a leveling compressor, and you can use it on the compress mode or on limiting mode. Very simple to use. You have two knobs, one for peak reduction and one for gain. You decide how much gain goes into the compression and how much peak reduction you get according to that.
That's right! Straight up, I'm lit!
I'm getting around 5 dB, and I compensate that using the gate knob to make sure we're not losing volume.
That's right! Straight up!
Next, I'm using a free plugin by Slate Digital called Fresh Air. I believe everybody can download this to this day. What this plugin is good at is adding top end, air, brightness, a little bit of saturation, and a little bit, I believe, of compression. But the compression effect is not audible, but you can hear a little bit of the saturation effect. I'm adding 16% on each band and then trimming it down by 2 dB.
That's right! Straight up, I'm lit!
You can hear the difference.
That's right! That's right!
Next, I'm going to FL Studio's stock flanger. I don't want too much of it, so I'm bringing down the wet knob, and I'm also mixing it in using the main knob inside FL Studio's mixer.
That's right! I'm lit!
Lastly, on the direct insert of this chain is Panman. You have free, stock, and paid options for this effect. Some people might like to do it manually, but I like it automatically like this. And the difference between these kind of plugins is usually the amount of control you have over the plugin.
That's right!
If you're in headphones or studio monitors, this should be audible to you.
Straight up!
Now it's time to add the effects, reverbs, and delays. I have one reverb and two delays set up for this chain. I'm using Valhalla Vintage Verb, 30 milliseconds of pre-delay, about 2.5 seconds of decay, low cut and high cut, and I'm also mixing in a little bit of flanger after the reverb on its direct chain.
That's right! Straight up! I'm lit!
I'm using Echo Boy by Soundtoys, but this delay can be achieved on pretty much any delay plugin that you have. It's a super fast one, almost a slap delay on 1/32 of the note. Feedback is around 70%, high cut, low cut, and the style I'm using on this particular plugin is called analog delay, which has some analog warmness and grit to it. I set the width of the delay to about 20%, 25%.
That's right! Straight up! I'm lit!
Even though the feedback knob is set high, you don't hear it repeating too many times. It's almost like a slap delay, as I said. But the second one is the one that you hear repeating. This one is on ping pong mode, feedback is on 5 to 10%, left hand side is on 1/4, and the right hand side is on 1/8. Low cut and high cut are even more exaggerated, and the width is set much higher to about 70-80%. Altogether, you get this.
That's right! Straight up! I'm lit! That's right! That's right!
Now let's hear everything we've done on my voice.
That's right! Yeah! That's lit! Hell yeah!
Here's the difference between my voice and Travis Scott. Those dry Travis Scott samples that we have are not fully dry. They just don't have the spatial effects and the auto-tune. They do have compression and EQ as far as I can hear. Mine is completely dry out of my microphone into the DAW. And so if I wanted to get closer to Travis Scott's sound on my voice, I would have to stick a vocal chain on it, export it, and then stick this after on it. And of course, the way he says it with all that experience as a rapper is different to how I say it as someone who's never been behind the mic. By the way, the template that you see I'm using is my FL Studio production template. I also have a recording template, and I will link the videos to these guys up top. You can also find these on my website if you'd like to have them for yourself. Moving on to FL Studio's stock chain, we keep the idea and the structure of the plugins the same. Pitcher is the alternative for autotune. Set it to the key and scale of your music. Specify your gender, and the speed dial is the same as retune speed inside autotune, so we set it to fastest.
I'm lit!
Parametric EQ is next, a similar shape with a low cut and a dip around the mid-range.
That's right!
Sound Goodizer will do a similar job to Fresh Air, adding brightness, compression and saturation. I use it on mode A, and I'm adding only a little bit, around 20%.
That's right! Straight up!
Next up is the flanger. We use it on the same settings.
That's right!
And lastly, on the direct chain is Fruity Panomatic, which does the same job as Panman. Make sure you set the mode from off or volume to pan. Adjust your speed and the amount.
That's right! Straight up!
Now for the effects, my reverb is Fruity Convolver. I'm using St. Paul preset on Distant Hall 1 rear. You can add the pre-delay to this using this knob. If you want to control the decay, you can come here under volume and create any shape that you like, just like any automation that you make inside FL Studio. And we have the flanger again right after this.
That's right! Straight up!
For delay, I'm using Fruity Delay 3. It's on tempo synced and the time is set to here. On 4, ping pong mode, level of feedback is set to about 20%. I don't think I've changed much else about this.
That's right! Straight up!
And for my other delay, I'm using the same plugin. Time is set much lower, just like the other slap delay that we had. Mode is set to stereo, but I dragged down the stereo knob to make the width less. Feedback is more, but again, you're not gonna hear it as much.
That's right! Straight up!
Let's also hear it on my voice.
That's right! Yeah! That's lit! Hell yeah!
As I mentioned before, if you want to download these exact chains, you can go to my website. The link is in the description, and you will be getting these 2 presets that you can load inside your own projects. One important thing to keep in mind is that because I cannot include auxes inside preset files, I had to load those effects at the end of each chain. What you will need to do is to simply click on the arrow beside each plugin, save preset as, and drag it onto an empty channel to create an aux, delete it from the direct chain, and just send your Adlib channel to that particular effect, delay or reverb, whatever it is. This will give you more control over your spatial effects. It helps you dial in the effect better, and it helps you add different kinds of effects after your reverb or after your delay. For example, what happens if I send my reverb aux to the delay and turn it down a little bit?
That's right! Straight up!
Now you can hear the reverb being delayed. This is just an example of things that you can do. There are all kinds of crazy effects you can make by just combining flanging, chorus effect, tremolo even. You can stick a grow speed after your reverb or after your delay to make a gate sound. And these kind of things will just add some uniqueness to the same idea. Because even though some of you might want the exact Travis Scott sound on your own production, that's not usually the best thing to do, at least in my opinion. You want to take the idea, refine it, and add something of yourself to it. And these are the ways that you can do it. As promised, let's quickly do it inside Logic Pro X. I'm not gonna explain everything again, the idea is the same. We're just gonna use Logic Pro stock plugins instead. I'm gonna have to look the other way, so don't mind me. We got the Adlibs dry.
That's right! Straight up!
The first thing in our chain is auto-tune, pitch corrector. So we go to pitch correction. We set our root note. Let's go for A sharp, minor, natural minor. Response time is same as retune speed, all the way down.
I'm lit!
Okay, get the EQ, low cut, to about 300 Hertz. Take out a little bit of 900 to 1K. Moving on to dynamics, I'm gonna go for Studio FET, which is an 1176 black.
That's right!
Too much.
Straight up!
Somewhere there.
I'm lit!
We now need to make it brighter. We could use Fresh Air again, it's a free plugin, but let's go for Vintage EQ Collection. Tube EQ. This is a Pultec emulation. We leave it on silky. We add some high boost with a high bandwidth, and we also attenuate the same frequency a little bit. So 5 dB on the boost and 3 dB of cut on 12K. Let's hear it.
That's right! Straight up!
Pretty cool. Next, modulators. Flanger. Okay, I need to get the hang of this flanger, I'm not gonna lie, I've never used this. And it has only 4 knobs.
Straight up!
I like it there, less intense. And lastly, Panman, which I'm not sure if Logic has. This is the only part I wasn't sure about. I'll leave the panning alone. I will have to download a free plugin called Pancake to do this, and it will take some time. Moving on to the effects. Gonna create buses. So bus 1 is gonna be our reverb. Let's go for chroma. This is a room, so let's change it to a hall on about 2.5 second decay. Where is the pre-delay? There it is, to around 30 milliseconds. Let's hear this.
That's right! Straight up!
Sounds pretty good. We can stick this flanger right after that too.
That's right!
Let's mix.
I'm lit!
Okay, now we create another bus. For delay, I'm using the echo plugin. It's just simpler to operate here for this purpose. Feedback, we bring it down. Notes is on 132 dotted, and you can adjust the color if you want it brighter or darker.
That's right! Straight up! I'm lit!
This does the job of that slap delay. We go into the third bus, and this time we're going to be using stereo delay on ping pong, 1/4, 1/8, low cut and high cut. Feedback is on 5 to 10%. I believe we will have to hear it anyway.
That's right!
This particular delay, ping pong delay, should be set up to taste, because I can change it and make it faster, like so.
That's right! Straight up!
But that's pretty much it, and you can do it in Cubase, Pro Tools, Ableton, whatever you use. I actually ended up using these 2 adlib chains on completely unrelated genres to Travis Scott, and with minor tweaks like taking the autotune out or taking the flanger out, mix it less, I've gotten some pretty cool results. Listen and laugh.
دو تا سیگار خالی کن با علف قاطی کن هر کی گفت این چیه بگو سیگار خالیه هر کی گفت این چیه بگو سیگار خالیه I don't want a lot for Christmas. There's just one thing I need. I don't care about the presents underneath the Christmas tree. I just want you for my own, more than you could ever know. Make my wish come true. All I want for Christmas is you.
I hope you enjoyed the video and took something away from it. I post all kinds of different content on my platforms, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And also you can find useful articles about certain free plugins or musical tools that you might not know about on my website, as well as my products which I make to make your life as a FL Studio user easier.